We're now in 2008, almost 11 years on. My next speaker has been a minister for virtually all but a couple of months. So throughout that whole period, he has served Her Majesty's government as a minister throughout that whole time. And we are very honored to have him as the association, as a friend of the association throughout that period. He has served the government, but he served the communities around him. As a member of the House of Lords, he may not have the same constituency as a member of Parliament and have to address them in the same way, but he has been described, and very accurately described, as a man of the people. I also would remind you that during that time as a minister, which ranged right across from health to work and pensions, to the Ministry of Justice, and to the ministry that I've just stated, he at one point actually resigned from the government. Resigned at a time when the government decided to move to war in Iraq. And he could not stand by and support that decision. And he resigned as a Minister of State at that time from the Blair government. A man of principle, a man of conviction, but ultimately one who advocates as any politician would. And we're very pleased to have him here with us today. It's an absolute epitome that he's taken his time out to be here. But not only is he here with us today, but he has been with us in the House of Lords, in the Commons, in Parliament, and he has represented our wishes and our issues to government on a regular basis. I call upon our friend, Lord Phil Hunt, to address this gathering.
Well, thank you very much indeed for that very generous introduction, and it's a real privilege to join you here today again. You're right, members of the House of Lords do not have electorates, but it was always a great privilege for me to have served as a member of the City Council for the Sparkbrook ward of this, in the early 1980s, which of course Sparkbrook extended over the railway line to a little bit of the community on this side of the track. So it's really good to be here, and I think some of you will probably know my wife Selina Stewart, who is Assistant Principal at Joseph Chamberlain Sixth Form College. Many of you have studied there, and so it's a real privilege to feel part of the community and to be invited here today. Like my colleague Steve McCabe, who has been working with you, I think, as long as I have on these critical matters, I want to pay tribute both to my very good friend Lord Nazir Ahmed for his leadership, but also to the Chair and Executive Committee of the Association. Thousands and thousands of UK citizens now go on pilgrimage every year. And it is the fact that during the years that they've gone on that pilgrimage, there have been tragic accidents such as stampedes and road accidents. There have been deaths due to meningitis outbreak and other health and safety issues. And the fact that so much progress has been made over the last few years has partly been down to the work of the government working with the Saudi authorities, but also very much due to the association and the tremendous work it's done. First of all, in raising the attention of government to the issues that have to be faced up to, but secondly, its campaign of health and safety awareness amongst many pilgrims going back to 1998. And I remember attending the first meeting that you held in Birmingham in 1998, just off Bradford Street, and it was a real privilege to be there then. But in the 10 years since, a lot of work has been accomplished, and as Steve McCabe has said, the fact that there have been no outbreaks of meningitis amongst UK citizens going on pilgrimage in the last 4 or 5 years is a tremendous tribute to the work that you've done. And I think that it must give us real confidence that we are cracking a lot of the problems that were first encountered. Equally, there can be no complacency. And that's why on the health and safety message, it is vital, and we're very, very glad that meningitis vaccination is compulsory for pilgrims going to Saudi because of the discussions that have taken place with the Saudi authorities. But of course it's also important that pilgrims take the appropriate malaria tablets and also have vaccination in relation to hepatitis as well. I know that there is a lot of concern about unscrupulous tour operators. I want to make 2 points. One is to emphasize that, of course, most tour operators perform in a perfectly honest, legal, effective way. What we're talking about here are a minority of unscrupulous operators. And we've heard earlier from Farim Khalid about the impact that that can have. We've heard 3 excellent presentations from professionals who know what it is we can do to regulate those operators. I just want to stress 3 points. First of all, a UK tour operator is responsible for the proper performance of the package contract. So as Steve McCabe has said, please keep a copy of that contract both with you and a spare copy at home so that you've got documentation if you need it to pick up issues which may have arisen. The second is that if after the trip you are unhappy and you feel that your operator did not provide what he ought to have done, please contact the local trading standards department. You've heard that the Birmingham has a very active trading standards department who are only too anxious to investigate complaints. And it's only by making complaints and those complaints being followed up and sometimes prosecutions taking place that we will drive out the unscrupulous operators. So please do make complaints if you're unhappy. Let the Trading Standards Department know. And I know, of course, that the association itself will be only too happy to forward issues when they arise, when pilgrims come back to the United Kingdom. The third point that's come up from the presentations we've had this morning is how important it is to check your tour operator holds a current ATOL license to ensure that prepayments are protected in the event of the operator, the flight operator, going out of business, and to provide for you to get home if necessary. Again, that's a very strong point that was made today. The government has produced an advice to British Hajj pilgrims which is very good and full of useful information, which has been written after consultation with a number of Muslim communities. I would again urge you to have that information and to take it with you when you go on pilgrim. Finally, let me say this. We've made huge progress in the last few years, but it's still a tragedy that people still fall ill or suffer from safety problems when they are on their pilgrimage. I can't stress to you enough the importance of ensuring that you do have the right injections, you do have the malaria tablets, that you do pay awareness to health and safety issues. I find it outrageous that on what should be a profoundly important event in anyone's life, going on a pilgrim, should be undermined by a minority, a small minority of unscrupulous operators. Please do everything you can to have your documentation, to take advice from the association, and if anything does go wrong, please do report it, because that's the way we'll put it right in the future. My ministerial colleagues have long been concerned to make sure that we do everything we can to support pilgrims. It's why we've established facilities at the pilgrimage. We will continue to be concerned. But again, I want to thank you very much indeed for this opportunity to coming and supporting the association in the fantastically important work that it does, and to wish you all a very successful pilgrimage. Thank you very much.